A good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Inappropriate Radio. It's your host, Tasha. Let's get into this. First and foremost, please forgive me for any background noise you may hear. I'm still out and about right now, so you might hear people talking, kids laughing, screaming, people running, heels clicking, keys jingling, people coughing and sneezing, that type of stuff, all right? No alien talk, no periodic table talk today. However, the creator has a message for us. Now, I got this download, I want to say yesterday or the day before, I believe. And it was basically about all the different religious communities, right? Now, we've gone over the difference between spirituality, religion, different cultures. We've had several conversations that allude to the differences, right? And the creator had dropped something in my spirit. We've also talked about how, the year of 2024, is just being that year of exposure and just really putting things out there that needs to be revealed. We talked about the Christ consciousness and how, people who share a frequency share a consciousness, right? We like to go over some of the things that we discussed because when it comes up, we want to make it plain and clear that we're not having the same conversation, but just demonstrating how these topics correlate, right? How they, just connect to one another. Now, I got a download, and initially I thought it was about T.D. Jakes. I'm sorry to say his name, but at first I thought the download was about how his church was falling, and then I realized that myself, I haven't even been looking at tarot card readings the way that I used to. Now, initially, like I said, I thought this was just about religious people, religious leaders, right? But then the creator said, no, spiritual leaders. And then this morning, I seen one of the tarot card readers that I do follow. She basically alluded to the same conversation. So I knew that was my confirmation of the download that I had gotten. So a lot of people believe that, okay, first of all, this is the year of revelation. This is the year of exposure. This is the year of karma. So whatever you have been putting out into the ethers up to anywhere from the last 6 months into the last 20 into 21 years, your karma is going to unfold, good or bad, right? It doesn't matter what you've done. You are going to be receiving back the fruits of your labors. Okay, let's just start there. Now, when it comes to this conversation of religious and spiritual leaders, the creator is stripping people who has been in these high-ranking positions in the physical world, right? First, because he's obviously creating space for the new energy to come forward, to spring forward. But the real reason why this is going on is because the creator wants us to open up our own direct lines. He wants each of us to open up the lines of communication that we have with him. A lot of people who are honing in on their gifts, who are not sure of what it is that they're receiving, what they're picking up, it is solely your responsibility, especially if the creator has gifted you with gifts to break curses and cycles. If you're a seer, if you have the ability to to use your gifts to transmute or alter anything from the past, the present, or the future, this is for you, okay? Or if you're like spreading false news, false gossiping, we talked about faking, I did that message, I want to say a week or two ago. If you're like a false, I'm not even going to say a false prophet, but if you're like lying or using your gifts for financial gain, you need to check in with the creator, all right? Now, The Creator strictly wants us to move the things out of our way that is obstructing the flow of us having a direct line of communication with Him. This is specifically for people who have already gone through their initial dark night of the soul, and they have been breaking cycles, and they are currently in the midst of going into a third or a fourth dark night of the soul, or they have experienced at least two, right? At least two dark nights of the soul. You have broken at least two cycles, and you have a little bit of seasoning in your spirit, right? Like you're a little bit spiritually seasoned and mature, meaning you have at least 3 years under your belt of actively pursuing. Remember, we talked about consciously pursuing, and just things happening because the Creator is allowing it. There is a difference. If you are actively pursuing your purpose and you have done your healing work, your shadow work, if you are actively currently en route, or you had already started working on the things that are directly correlated to your purpose on your path, okay? This is for you. If you're just being awakened, if you're just coming into a particular level of consciousness, then you are not expected to be able to just follow guidance. You are expected to seek spiritual advice, spiritual assistance, whether it be from a religious person, a spiritual person, the cat down the road, right? Your neighbor, your cousin, as long as it is someone who you can trust with your physical life, right? If you can't trust a person with your physical life, then you probably can't trust them with your spiritual life, right? This is important because if you've been taking any kind of spiritual advice from someone, whether they're religious, spiritual, or they're just an average Joe person, whatever type of karma and energy that they're in whilst you are taking this advice from them, you are accruing some of that karma. You are responsible. Once you come into a threshold of consciousness, you share a level of responsibility with your ancestors, your purpose mates, and your guides, okay? To start continuing to shed off anything that is stopping you from moving closer to your purpose, right? We don't want to talk about death too soon, so we're not even going to get onto that. But the overall gist of this conversation is to be certain, okay? Is to be certain that the things you are taking into your spirit, especially if they're related to your consciousness, your spirituality, anything pertaining to God, the ethers, your spirit, and who you are in the physical, outside of the physical realm, all of those things play a role, okay? And if you're going to be getting information from someone that can ultimately ruin your relationship with the Creator, or throw you off course rather, then you might need to examine that person or examine their spirit, okay? Because remember, we've talked about people being good people and having bad spirits on them. It's your job to be aware of the type of person you are taking spiritual advice from. This is why the Creator gives us assigned people. The only people that can't necessarily mess you up like that are the people that are assigned to you by the Creator, okay? The Creator has people that He has assigned to you for you to go through these different levels and phases and stages with. And even sometimes we have to separate from them so we can all be recalibrated, so we won't harm each other in the spirit. We talked about that as well, right? Being guided to the right place, the right people at the right time in order to get certain things done, right? And it's not always up to us. Well, it's never up to us, right? We just decide if we're going to be obedient or not. But it's always the Creator giving us a set of directions or instructions, and us figuring out how to navigate those instructions, right? Sometimes we don't even get a why. Sometimes we don't even get a what. Sometimes we don't even get a how, right? It's all about how the Creator lays these things out for us in order for us to be able to understand, right? What it is that we are attached to. If you attach yourself to someone who God is exposing, not only do you share karma, the Creator will actually kind of be upset with you, right? He's telling me that there's some choice words that I wanted to use that's incorrect, so I don't really know which words to use that are appropriate enough. But the Creator being upset with you is not something that you necessarily want, okay? So if you are, remember, like goes with like. Things that vibrate on the same frequency. So you need to make sure that you don't have a spiritual cord that is connecting you to people that you are getting spiritual advice from. You need to make sure that the spirits that have bound this person or kept them from ascending again, or kept them from flourishing, or that is leading to their blessings being snatched away. You need to make sure the spirits that are operating with them and that they're operating in, that has led to this discourse, is not attached to you or not attacking you, or this is not something that you have in common. Because sometimes these spirits will dredge up energy just for everyone to be able to get along with something usually very low vibrational at the center, right? Most of the time it's drama, sometimes it's drugs, sometimes it's alcohol, sometimes it's sex, sometimes it's money, right? Those are all low vibrational things, especially if they're not being used with the intent of vibrating or closing a cycle, right? You have to understand that the Creator has different loops and waves of energies, and they're infinite. And if there is something unseen that is connecting you to someone you receive spiritual advice from, they can steal your energy through this cord. They can steal your blessings through this cord. They can throw you in the pit, okay, and have you collecting some of their karma because of this relationship, because of them giving you spiritual advice and you taking it in, and you don't even have to act on it or use it. Just you being in connection with someone that the Creator is saying they're no longer delivering my messages, or I'm no longer using them, or I was never using them, or they have misused and abused their gifts. Once you associate yourself with someone who is faltering spiritually, because it's one thing to falter in the physical, right? We all come up short in either realm, in either dimension. It doesn't matter the dimension. But when you are spiritually falling short, that is something only the Creator can adjust. So if someone is lacking spiritually and they're not allowing the Creator to fix them and guide them and mold them and help them maneuver, then what exactly are they attaching to? What exactly have they tied themselves to? I hope that makes sense, right? We have to understand that we are connected to things outside of ourselves that are behind us and ahead of us and all around us, underneath us, and above us, okay? And if you're not aware of these things, the karma is not as bad. But if you can see that someone is losing their position, and it is a position of respect, and if it is something that is to be representing the Creator and they lose it, something's going on, right? You might want to speak with the Creator about that and make sure you're in the right place by connecting with them. All right. But I'm going to end it here. I hope you guys enjoyed your weekend. I hope you are drinking your water, eating your fruit and vegetables, and sipping on your own tea, because it is most definitely free. All right. And I'm out of here. Love y'all. Peace.